U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, as you saw just a few moments ago, responded to the NRA's blanket call to arm schools. She announced that she is working on a bill on gun control, along with the governor of Connecticut. And joining me now to talk about this from Montreal is Heidi Rathjen. She is a co-founder of the Coalition for Gun Control, and she was a former civil engineering student at l'École Polytechnique and lost friends on December 6, 1989, when Marc Lépine opened fire. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it today, Heidi. Can you tell me what your reaction to the NRA's proposal to put armed guards in every American school is?
Well, when they first announced that they would have a major press conference at the beginning of the week, pardon me, there was a glimmer of hope that maybe something would change, but obviously they are just as extreme and outrageous and radical as they've ever been. Putting army teachers or putting armed guards in teachers is not, the kind of society that even most Americans want to live in. And so they are the same as they always have been. It's more important for them to protect their right to own guns and to protect children.
I thought Dianne Feinstein made a really interesting point when she raised the issue that at Columbine, for example, there were armed guards. It was indeed one of the high schools in the United States that employs security detail. And those two armed guards were unable to stop the two young men who perpetrated the Columbine shooting. So it seems to me that the NRA's position has a lot of flaws in it.
Well, and this is real life. It's not like a movie. We're not in Hollywood where the bad guys could be easily disarmed. It's completely chaotic when something like this happens. It's already hard enough for police to come in and deal with a mass shooting, but to have other shooters around, just in terms of preventing these mass shootings, is completely unrealistic. But at the same time, more guns in the community means more gun crimes. I mean, the studies show it, the facts show it. If you look at countries, the level of gun violence in countries, it is directly proportional to the easy access to firearms. And while it's important to look south of the border and follow the debate and discussion there, and to look at the power of the National Rifle Association, it's just as important to look at Canada and what our gun lobby has been able to achieve. So we have a powerful gun lobby here in Canada that has the ear of the Conservative Party, and amongst them is the National Firearm Association. And I have here a list of their legislative objectives. And amongst this list, we have a number of measures that the Conservative have already implemented. For example, completely repealing the firearm registry and destroying the records. That has been done. Renouncing the agreement to implement UN marking regulations. That has been done. Cancel the introduction of proposed new gun show regulations. That have just been done yesterday. And now what's still on the list, what they're still trying to do, is eliminate firearm licenses and requirements to take any course. Now, they want to curtail the RCMP's ability to classify guns restricted or prohibited. They want to end the prohibition on large capacity magazines, eliminate safe storage and transport requirements, and remove the category prohibited from the classifications of guns.
Now,
they are just as extreme as the NRA.
If I'm not mistaken, though,
much influence with the current government.
If I'm not mistaken, though, Stephen Harper did come out shortly after there was concern, because we had this discussion on this program several weeks ago about some of the changes that the Conservatives were hoping to push through. If I'm not mistaken, the Prime Minister did come out and say, no, they were backtracking on some of those. I'd have to go back into my notes and check on that. But I guess what I want to ask you is, what are we doing in Canada that is right, in your opinion? I know you know what is being done wrong or what could be done wrong, but what has changed since what happened at l'École Polytechnique that's made it safer for Canadians?
Mm-hmm. Well, the two pillars of gun control is licensing and registration. Control gun owners and control the guns. And there is no gun control if you can't track weapons the way they circulate in Canada. And of course, we need to ban weapons whose risk, like assault weapons, far outweigh any benefit for a minority of shooters. Canada did that, just like many other countries following mass shootings, and our gun-related crime went down. what the Conservatives did, and what people don't quite understand, is not only did they get rid of the long gun registry, but they also weakened other essential provisions, and that are now even weaker than those in the United States. So, for example, gun stores no longer have to keep inventories and record sales and have a sales ledger, which is constantly used by police in criminal investigations. They've also created a huge loophole for licensing. So while it remains the law that you need a license to purchase guns, you no longer have to have it validated when you buy it. So they eliminated that process that made sure that you had a valid license by running it through the system.
Heidi?
So they've created these enormous loopholes which will make it easier for guns to be illegally purchased.
Heidi, I have to let you go in the interest of time, but thank you for this discussion. I'm sure we'll hear more about it over the coming days. Thank you.